Hi everybody. So I compiled a few questions that I'm asked most often about nutrition, and I'm going to do a quick series and try to answer them. So the first one is when is nutrition important? And if I may answer with another question, when is it not? When is nutrition not important? Nutrition has many aspects to it. It plays a role in at least the following: energy production, ecosystem balance, reproduction, socializing, cognition, emotional regulation, physical performance, and cultural identity. So as you can see, it's quite a lot of different domains where nutrition has a role to play. And on top of that, it also has a great influence on our mood, our energy level, our recovery, our cognition, and of course our physical performance and well-being. So I don't really see when nutrition doesn't really matter. Now, depending on where you are in your life and what you are trying to achieve, then it might be relevant to invest time in it and effort to optimize it, more or less, depending what you're trying to achieve. And what I try to do is see nutrition more as a skill that will benefit from being improved on over time, and that supports the overarching goal that you have in your life, rather than one thing that you are trying to have checked from your list once and for all, and that's done and finished. And as such, I find it always important to some degree, for the reason that I already mentioned. And I think so a very good question to ask is how what you are pursuing in life, or how what is most important to you in life, would benefit from upgrading your nutrition skills. Maybe that will give you some insights as to when is nutrition important. How nutrition affects health. So the body needs food to function and to do a bit more than that, but also to thrive. And this is true for any human. And food is one fundamental aspect of having energy. So this is going to be quite significant, how food and how your nutrition is going to impact your health. Now, nutrition will give you the building block your body needs to rebuild itself, to recover, to repair itself, to heal, but also to grow if that's your goal. And also the calories that we are eating are needed so that our cells can maintain their physical integrity. This has to do with physics, the law of thermodynamics, and Chris Masterjohn did a very cool video about that. If you want to learn more, he's going to explain it way better than I am. Then the other side of nutrition and health is the stress management. And we know that stress, being excessive and chronic, plays quite a big role in the disease appearance. And nutrition is quite big when it comes to stress management. That's obviously not the only factor at play here, but malnutrition can really exaggerate stressors that are already here, or be a stressor in and of itself. If you are eating too little, or foods that are driving some allergies or intolerances. And in my opinion, there's no need to put more pressure on your system by eating poorly. And nutrition should support your health rather than challenge it. How nutrition affects performance. I like that one. Yeah, nutrition affects performance big time. And performance can be anything really. So it could be athletic performance, sprints, basketball, weightlifting, obviously, but it could also be acting in a theater or a chess game or live DJing or live dance performance. But performance is also a surgeon who's doing an operation, or a trader at work, or a cook doing a 5-course meal, for example. And so what they all have in common is that they are human performing something. And as human, then you need energy. And one of the big building blocks of energy is the calories that we get from foods. This is something that you are not going to get somewhere else. So breathing and air also play a role in how we produce energy. Metabolism is also influenced by obviously micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals, but the calorie that you are getting, you get it from the food. And if you get too little of it, then it can easily increase your stress level. But if you get too much of it, then it can also make you a bit sleepy, for example, and reveal some underlying subpar recovery. And both of those are going to have an impact on how well you can perform in whatever you are trying to do. Yeah. Also, obviously, food we are intolerant to, or that are very challenging for our digestion, are also going to impact negatively the ability that we have to perform. So nutrition affects performance quite a lot, and I think that's something that's a bit overlooked most of the time by people that are not really into fitness. But those very people would gain quite a lot, and learning a few things about nutrition and paying a bit more attention to it by just doing the basics right. It's not to overcomplicate things or to put even more stress in the system, but I think that's some kind of basic skill that should be accessible to anybody, and that almost anybody would benefit from doing a bit better. Nutrition, where to start? So I think it's useful to break down nutrition in different categories. We have the energy, food quality component, the macro and micronutrient, and then the timing when we eat food. Then we also have the whole logistic part of it, like how it's cooked, where do we eat, and how we can make it easy on ourselves to also to do the groceries so that it's effective and efficient, and how we can prep it. And what I observe in my work is that most of the time the base is not here. So people try to do some different kind of diet or nutrition form, but they are not really paying attention to the very basic of nutrition, which is energy. And even though the body is quite good at getting the right amount, the right mean amount over time, what I've seen with almost all of my clients to date was that at first they didn't know how many calories they needed and how much they were taking in. And this makes it very difficult to manage your resources. And for that reason, spending time tracking your food over a few weeks or even months is going to be very helpful and give you great insights. That, if you think about it, this would be similar to tracking and organizing your time in your calendar or your finances in your bank accounts, income, tax report, etc. And those are something you want to have some kind of measure for it so that you can manage it better. And the food, it's exactly the same. And one big obstacle is when people think that they have to do that for their whole life, or that it's taking too much time and that it's very inconvenient to do. But it's mostly an organization problem, and there are very good ways to make it more efficient. So if you pre-cook your food once or twice a week, if you have a delivery service for your grocery, for example, it's going to be very helpful as well and save you time. And you have bento boxes where you can put the exact amount of food that you are going to need for the next meals, and this is also going to be very quick once you've mastered it. And this will really give you a base to help you understand better how food influences your body, not only the different ingredients, but really also the amount. And what I've found consistently is that people are not really aware of how big the influence of calorie is on their whole system and how it can show in different aspects of their life, such as their mood, their energy, their cognition, like having a clear mind to be able to work, or to be present for their loved ones, families. All that is greatly influenced by the amount of calories that you are eating, and that's something that a lot of people just overlook. And the next step would be the food quality, because this is going to matter as well. So if you only eat the right amount of calories, but it's only Snickers and Mars and lattes, then it's not going to be the most the best food choices for your health and also for your performance. And try to eat mostly unprocessed fresh food, whole food, and this will give you a better satiety and calorie to nutrition ratio. Nutrition for healthy living. This is an interesting one, because as much as I like to pay attention to the food I eat, and I think it's important to pay attention to your nutrition, as far as I know, there's no study that have shown that there's one form of nutrition that is better for your health. Yeah. And what we can see though is reoccurring patterns, and for example a much higher ratio of unprocessed to processed food, no force feeding or starving or extreme restrictions of certain food categories. And the body is super adaptable. You can survive with a lot of different kind of diet and nutrition forms, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to have an impact in 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now if you cut out some foods and you are too extreme with your nutrition, or you cut too much calories, for example, or you eat too much calories over a long period of time. And that's something that we all should keep in mind, especially people that are interested in nutrition, is that nutrition is not the number one driver for health and longevity. Rather, purpose and meaning, as well as a strong social network, are going to have a bigger influence there. And nutrition should be a part of it and should support that, but it's not the number one factor for a healthy lifestyle. How nutrition affects athletic performance. So athletes are also human first, and like anybody, they have a need for calories so that they can have energy to perform. As human movement and athletic performance increases the energy expenditure, then nutrition has a direct impact on the performance, obviously. And the first and most obvious effect would be that too little calories are going to negatively impact your performance, and that enough calories or a slight surplus is going to benefit the performance or to drive the performance up and positively. And this is obviously not the only thing that matters. Food choice and timing will also have an impact there. So as far as food choices go, if you eat food that have a negative impact on your digestion, for example, then it's going to also disturb your ability to perform. And if you eat too far away or too close to the performance, then you might have some food that comes up, or you can also be a bit tired because the food that you last took in was too long ago. And lastly, the nutrition may or may not support the recovery, which will also impact and influence the performance short term, mid term, and then long term. So pay attention to your nutrition for your athletic performance, as it's going to influence it quite a lot. And sometime when we hit a plateau, then it might be useful just to eat a bit more food. Nutrition when working out. In that instance, the goal of the nutrition is to support the workout before and after it. And if you are training, then you are chasing a specific goal or adaptation. And the training is going to be the driver for your progress, and thus you want to make sure that your training goes according to plan or optimally, then that you can make the most out of it. And so right around the workout is actually quite a good time to have food to eat, so that you can support what you're going to do in your physical activity. So you want, prior to your workout, you want to eat food that is going to help you get more energy, and directly after it, or in a very small time window, you want to eat food that is going to help you recover better and to start the recovery. What you definitely don't want to have is foods that make you feel too full or bloated when you eat your meal before your workout. And in both cases, so before and after your workouts, the food that you are going to eat should be easily digestible. Concretely, I like to, so that's my personal preference. I'm not saying that it's going to be the same for everybody, but it's also something that I've seen work quite well for a lot of the clients I work with. is to have post-workout carbs and protein. I used to have a shake, like a protein shake, but nowadays I tend to prefer to have whole food for some reason. It just makes me feel better. And before the workout, that would be 1 or 2 hours before I train, a balanced meal with protein, carbs, and fat. Sometimes also with a bit less protein, so that it's easier on the digestion. But what I found was mostly the timing before workout was playing quite a big role. So yeah, try it out. You can write that down and see what works better for you. If you have, if you eat a lot pre-workout, how you can then perform. If you eat a bit less, how is it affecting your training? And the same for post-workout meal. If you don't eat, what happens next? If you eat too much, what happens next? And also play around with the food choices for your meals pre and post workouts to see what's helping you have the best performance during your training and have the best recovery afterwards.